Alrighty, episode 86 of the Paws Up podcast. You're with my co-host and good friend Jake Gibson. Jake, how we doing?
Doing great, man.
Lone Depot game wrapped up. Unfortunately, it didn't go anyone's way, but
Yeah.
FIU coming up for baseball, conference title coming up for FIU men's basketball in the tournament. So a lot coming up in FIU, and football's back. So
Yes.
anyways, we're very excited to have Jillian Huckabey of FIU Volleyball. Jillian, how we doing? Very excited to have you on.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's just get it going right away. So just when did you begin playing volleyball competitively, and when did you realize this is something you really wanted to dedicate yourself to?
Yeah, so I actually started playing volleyball competitively probably around middle school. I wasn't too serious about it when I was younger. I was always a basketball player. That was really what I wanted to do. And then probably my freshman, sophomore year in high school is when I really figured out that volleyball was going to be my thing.
So you come from a family of athletes. Your mom, Melissa, played college ball. Just what advice did she give you, as you started to pursue a sport to play, and then what was your reaction when you chose volleyball over basketball?
I don't think she really cared what I did, but she's always very supportive. She always advised me to do what I want and follow what my heart desired. So obviously that took me to volleyball, and she supported me every step of the way.
So what would you say are the biggest differences between indoor and beach volleyball, and why did you go with indoor volleyball?
Yeah, so indoor obviously is a lot different because it's such a much bigger team sport rather than outdoor is. I played outdoor also when I was younger, and I loved it. I just love being in the sun. So beach volleyball is always awesome, but I just think beach volleyball is a little tougher, especially with just two people on the court and trying to block and defend at the same time. It's a lot going on there, but I think I chose indoor more because just having all those extra help and like all the teammates, I just think it's a better environment for me personally.
On that topic, do you and the beach volleyball team, like, how close are you? Will you attend a beach volleyball game, and will they attend yours?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely attend some of theirs. Maybe they'll go to ours. I mean, I'm friends with a few of the girls, so all good.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's sick. Yeah, it is cool, by the way, that we can tackle a new sport on the Paws Up podcast. We just had Chris Kilby from golf, which was super cool. We're checking down more sports to finally get some reps from us, so it's super cool. And what was also cool was your time in high school, because the accolades were extensive then, right? 4-time state tournament team member, 4-time prep volleyball All-American. Just talk about some of your favorite memories from then, and maybe some lessons you learned way back then that you still hold to this day.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, high school volleyball was an experience like no other. I played for a very competitive high school team. One of my closest friends, my teammate on the team, is Skylar Pierce. She plays volleyball at Nebraska, which is one of the best colleges for volleyball. So I had a lot of mentors with me while I was there, and I was able to look up to people even my own age and learn a lot. So just even having people your age to look up to is crazy, because obviously there's adults and other people there that you're already looking up to. So I think high school kind of helped me advance a lot athletically and socially. But yeah, it's been awesome. And some of my favorite memories came from high school volleyball. A lot of it just spending time with my friends on that team. Closest friends have all played volleyball, but definitely going to state was one of the best parts about it. Getting to play some of my club teammates too that were there, like Janelle Green. Got to play against her. Maybe didn't win sometimes, but it was definitely a fun experience, and I wish I could do it again for sure.
So being from Kansas, right? It's considered by many to be, what's it called, a flyover state, one of the flyover states in this country. I'm not going to lie and say that I've been there or Kevin been there. We certainly have not.
No.
But that leads me to this question: how did FIU go about recruiting you all the way over there in Kansas, and what made you pull the trigger on FIU?
Yeah, honestly, Kansas City in Kansas is very much a powerhouse for volleyball. We host one of the biggest tournaments right now, NIT Triple Crown, which is probably the biggest tournament that college coaches go to. So that's where I saw Terrence and Christina, my coaches. But I've also playing club volleyball. You travel all around the country. So Minneapolis, Indianapolis, Dallas, like all these places around the Orlando, like coaches are everywhere. And so every time I talk to my coaches, they tell me they've been watching me play since I was like 14 years old. So they watch you for years and years playing club, traveling all over the country playing. So not everything's in Kansas, but
right.
You have your outreaches from Kansas too.
So how many offers did you receive, and why did you go with FIU?
Well, my first and only offer that I received was FIU.
Okay.
I was kind of later in the process of being recruited, and there was some pinpoints for me that I needed to have checked when looking at a school, and money being one of them. So in order to go to school, I needed to have the money. So I was really just trying to find a school that fit all of my boxes, including that one. And FIU honestly fitted absolutely perfect. Absolutely everything about it. The volleyball team, the culture, the city, the area, the people at the school, academics, like everything here checked my boxes. Obviously, I love Kansas, but getting away from the farmland and absolutely nothing to the beach and the water is just like absolutely amazing for me.
You kind of mentioned it a little bit. So just what were your initial impressions of the campus, FIU, and who were some teammates that kind of took you under their wing?
Yeah, so campus is absolutely beautiful. Honestly, nothing like that in Kansas. So it was great seeing it. For my official visit, I went to the beach, and that's just kind of like when I knew I was like, I definitely want to go here. During my recruiting process, I think the person I talked to the most was probably Maddie Morgan. She's currently a junior right now. She'll be a senior next year on our team. But she does that with a lot of recruits. She's very, very easy to talk to, very social. She took me under her wing during my recruiting process. I stayed with her during my official visit. And I think she made the process so much easier on me because obviously recruiting is not fun, not easy at all. Right. So having someone at the school that you're interested in to kind of help you and guide you was nice.
You mentioned this a bit earlier about the culture here in Miami, and that's something we always like to ask the athletes who come from very, very different places around this country and even the world to an extent. It's another state and city that's completely different from Miami. You mentioned earlier, what are some of the biggest culture shocks you experienced your first time moving down here? Like, what the hell surprised you the most about Miami?
Something that I wish I could change actually would be learning how to speak Spanish. Absolutely everywhere I go, they speak Spanish, and I could tell you I'm honestly clueless when they start talking. So I wish I kind of figured that a little bit. So that was a big culture shock. But other than that, I felt like I handled diverse situations pretty well. And it's honestly interesting. I mean, going to Florida International, like obviously there's international students everywhere. Everybody's so different. So I just think it's such a cool environment to be around.
Carissa said the same thing last episode about Spanish.
Honestly, a lot of the athletes, they all say Spanish. But talk a little bit about what you've learned from your coach, Christina Robertson, up to this point in your career, and just what's the biggest piece of advice she's given you?
Yeah, she has helped me through quite a bit. Freshman year was not super easy, moving from Kansas to Florida, halfway across the country, from your family, going through different things. So she's helped me a lot on the court, even off the court. She's very good with mental health and kind of checking on you off the court. I can't even count the amount of meetings I had with her, talking about maybe crying to her sometimes, but she's been a great emotional support system for me down here. And it's nice to have that when your parents live 24 hours away.
24 hours away. That's right. Over there in the quite literally middle of the country. Yeah. So this could be a tough question. It might not be, but do you remember the first opponent you took on as a Panther?
The first opponent we took on was UNI.
There you go.
Dayton tournament, yeah.
That good job. But I bring that up because how different have you mentally and physically? Like, how do you prepare for game day now compared to then, now that you have a year of experience under your belt here at FIU?
Yeah, no, it's honestly crazy. Coming in as a freshman, you don't really think about it too much. You're kind of just ready to go. And, you go into that first game. And honestly, my first game as a freshman was not pretty. It was not pretty at all, but it was an experience like no other, being able to be on the big court, big show, whatever. It's a lot to take in. So from then to now, it's been a lot of adjusting and a lot of training on my end just to be able to get to that point.
How nervous were you that first game?
I think I blacked out. I don't even remember. It was a lot, but it was not pretty.
Okay, so first game aside, the rest of your first season with FIU as a freshman was great, leading the team in kills with 335 and amazing, and I couldn't believe this, 3.05 per set. Kind of crazy how that lines up with here in the 305. You earned a spot in the CUSA All Freshman team. So talk a bit about that, how you performed last season. Were you kind of shocked that you earned the All Freshman team selection, or were you more like, oh, for sure, that was easy, that was light work?
So for me, when it comes to accolades, I don't feel like that's something I truly focus on when I play. Mm-hmm. When I'm performing, I'm just trying to do what's best for my team, trying to get that win under our belts. But when I did get the accolade, we were in the middle of an airport, and I had no idea until a few of my teammates came up to me and were like, congrats. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? Like, I have no idea what just happened. But no, I mean, it was a great thing to receive. I wasn't like looking forward to like seeing my name on there, not like expecting it to be there. But I mean, once I saw it, it felt good to realize that my work has paid off.
Oh, that's super sick. Yeah, without a doubt. We're kind of flying by here, but I think now's a good time as ever to ask you, Kevin, is it time for a little bit of a news break?
Let's do it.
All righty. It is time for my news break, looking at all things FIU athletics and just FIU in general. So let's get right into it. I have a few stories here. Two of them are kind of related, being players from FIU athletics that are heading to the NCAA championships for two different sports. The first being FIU track and field, as Michael Valentin is heading to the 2025 D1 Indoor Track and Field Championships. She will be competing in the weight throw. So best of luck to her. And then now going to FIU swimming and diving, Emma Becker has qualified for the 2025 NCAA D1 Swim and Dive Championships. She will specifically be competing in the 100 breaststroke at the 21st ranked spot. So two Panthers competing for glory over against the rest of the country. That swimming match specifically is going to be on Wednesday, March 26th at 7 p.m. And then last but not least, some good news to share about FIU in general. They actually earned a top grade from the Anti-Defamation League for its support of Jewish students. In a confirmation of the university's success on that front, yes, it earned an A grade from the Anti-Defamation League. It's only one of 8 higher education institutions around the country that received that top score out of 135 total. The analysis stated that FIU combines objective data with certain subjective impressions and beliefs on how to weigh different factors about and it also utilized tools in this report card in support of students and families looking for info about the current state of anti-Semitism on campus and how universities and colleges are responding. Schools are graded from A to F based on 30 different criterias in 3 categories. So congratulations to FIU. It's one heck of an achievement. And that was your look at Newsbreak.
Alrighty. So this past season, it was a little rough for you guys, 8-25, but there were some bright spots. Just what would you make of the season overall?
I think last season was really a team building season, trying to build back and build up our team to the competitive level that we know we can play at. We have very high expectations, very high goals, and we always hold each other to that standard. And last year, it was very difficult having such a young team. Honestly, we had some old people as well, but there are a lot of freshmen and sophomores on the court as well. So it was pretty difficult trying to adjust to that and adapt to that. But this upcoming season is going to be a lot better with the chemistry and having that kind of chemistry on the court.
All right, so looking back at last season, what would you say was the best game that kind of exemplified what you guys want to be or what type of team you guys can be?
I think we had 2 really good games last season, one of them being early on in the year. We played LSU, which is a top mid-major volleyball team. They're very talented, and we took them to 5 sets, very tight each set. And that was just our second or third preseason tournament. So just being able to see that we can play at that such high of a level of competition that early on without even having the bonding and chemistry that we have now was absolutely crazy. And then fast forward to the end of the season, our very last game of the conference tournament, playing against WKU, the number one ranked team in our conference, playing them at such a high level as we did, and we took them to 4 sets. Also, so very close. I mean, we played them the closest out of any other team in our conference did in that tournament. So that honestly, even though we, received a loss from that, I think we still ended on a very high note, and we learned a lot from last season, especially even that last game. So I think we're ready for next season.
All right. So looking at this off season, just what are some things you've been working on?
Yeah. We had our winter break, and we came back and we started with small groups. We've been working in our positional groups with our coaches, which is nice. We get to break things down and kind of work on the things each individual person needs to work on. And then after spring break, we've started our 20-hour week. So now we're back to team practices, and it's honestly 10 times more competitive than it was last season. I mean, everybody has worked on their things and individual and have brought it to the table here at our team practices. So I think the more competitive we play against each other. And another thing that we have is the men's club volleyball team that comes and practices with us. So it's nice to play against even higher competition on the court. So it really prepares us for the next season.
Nice.
Well, how have you personally been trying to elevate your game specifically based on either, your own belief or maybe from what coaches or other players have told you?
Yeah, for me personally, I just try to be as versatile as I can. We don't know who's going to play what position at what time. So I try to be available at any opportunity. Either it's the outside, right side. But really something I've been working on the most is probably my defense in the back row. And honestly, anywhere in the back row. I just want to be able to keep as many balls I can up off the floor to continue to help my teammates.
What has been the message overall from Christina Robertson about what she believes and where this team needs to go to get to that 500 mark?
Honestly, I think kind of piggybacks off of last year's goals that we had. We had some very high expectations last year, honestly higher than a 500% winning. So we plan to exceed our expectations as much as we can and perform to our highest ability and get some more wins under our belt.
Makes sense. Now, who would you say are some of the most underrated teammates you got to play with last season that you think deserve maybe a bit more credit? Now would be the perfect time to give them that shout out.
I would honestly say our libero Mandy. That girl is absolutely crazy. She literally wears football pads to practice, I swear. She's on the ground everywhere. She's digging every single ball. She covers the whole entire court. I honestly don't understand how she does it. She's absolutely amazing to watch, even to be on the same team. I'm so glad she's on my team because it's really nice to have that in the back row as a hitter. So, yeah, she's a stud.
Alrighty. No, that's super sick. Got one more question before we get to some fun rapid fire questions here to start to close out the show. We don't know who FIU will be taking on in 2025, but here's a fun what-if scenario. What if they take on Kansas, K-State, even Wichita State? What would your reaction be? What plans do you and your family immediately need to set if that were to happen?
Oh my gosh, I would hope it's in Kansas. I mean, my whole family would get to go. I'd get to see all my friends that are still there. And I just think it would be a very fun and competitive atmosphere. I mean, I kind of grew up going to all those Kansas schools volleyball camps and like all the school camps there. So, I mean, I know the people that go there. I know the coaches. So it would be a full circle moment.
That's super sick. For the schedule makers, that's some advice to go with. I'm just saying, there's a lot of months to plan this out. So, alrighty, Jillian, again, thanks so much for spending some time with us tonight. Let's get into some fun rapid fire questions to start to close out the show here. Starting off, we ask this to everybody, who is the funniest teammate on this roster?
Oh my gosh, funniest teammate on the roster right now?
If you feel confident, you could choose yourself.
Oh, it's definitely not me.
Okay.
I'm pretty funny, but I know there's other funny people. I think there's people that are funnier. I'd probably have to say Savannah, Cook, or Mandy.
There you go.
All right.
Sounds good.
All righty. Who's getting the aux cord and who's not getting the aux cord?
Mandy can get the aux cord for sure. Becca's not getting the aux cord. Incoming freshman. She just graduated early. She's not getting the aux cord.
Gotcha.
Well, what's on your playlist?
Everything. I listen to absolutely everything. Country's my favorite, obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
Growing since I've been down here.
There we go.
So far, during your time here at FIU, what would you say is your go-to spot to grab a bite to eat on campus?
Tropical smoothie, 100%.
There you go.
On the way to practice, after practice, it's right there, always open.
Yeah.
We hadn't actually heard an athlete say tropical smoothie in a while.
We had like a streak of Panda Express.
Yeah,
so.
streak of
I haven't been
Panda.
there in a while. It's always trop.
There we go. What's the order?
Even said Chili's, which is still kind of crazy to think about. But I'd still say if we had to list the every single one, I think tropical smoothie does get the most votes overall. It is fire.
What's the order?
Oh man, it changes up a little bit. Depends on my smoothie, what I'm feeling. I either get an island green smoothie or peanut butter cup smoothie. Usually I've been sticking with the chicken quesadilla though.
There we go.
Fun chips on the side as well.
Nice. All right. So what's the best uniforms you guys have worn in your opinion?
Definitely the Vice ones. I think the all black looks sleek.
Yes.
Nice.
You definitely can't go wrong with all black. Something I do know about Kansas and that area in general, they take their barbecue very seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Are you a barbecue connoisseur? And what's the best place here in Miami to get barbecue that reminds you of home?
I don't think anything will ever compare to the barbecue back at home.
Okay.
I tried barbecue one time down here, and I have never had it after that. It was not good.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Damn. But what makes barbecue from Kansas so special?
I could not tell you. They put something in that barbecue that you can't get it from anywhere else.
Who would you say is the best volleyball player you've ever seen? Like, who is your personal GOAT?
My personal GOAT would probably be Jordan Larson from Nebraska. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Nebraska takes their volleyball unbelievably seriously. Didn't they sell out their whole football stadium for a volleyball match? I think last year. That was insane.
Yes, that was record-breaking. That was awesome.
And then finally, we asked this to every athlete. Who should be the next volleyball player we bring on the podcast?
Next volleyball player you should bring on the podcast should be probably Maddie Morgan. She's got quite the experience. First volleyball player that's been here for all 4 years at FIU.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. We'll keep that in mind. Yeah. Alrighty, Jillian, once again, thanks so much for spending us some time today. The final thing we'll ask you, and we ask this to pretty much every guest we get on the show, if you have anything you'd like to say to the fans, to FIU, to just anybody in general, the floor is now yours.
Oh, wow. All right. I was not expecting this. This is awesome. To all the athletics at FIU, I think everybody's in their growing stages right now, and everybody's kicking butt out there on the field and on the court, and I think everyone's cheering for you. Just continue supporting each other. I'm not sure.
All right, that's good. That's good. That was awesome. Again, that was awesome, Jillian.
All righty, we'll wrap it up here. Jillian, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate the time. From Jillian, Jake, and myself, we'll see you guys all next week. Have a pretty cool guest. As always, peace out and paws up.
Paws up!